Hello everyone, it's Becky here from Ivy's Corner, back to do another little mini mono tangle for you. Today's tangle is going to be the Zentangle HQ tangle Rixty. Now this tangle was named and created for Rick at Zentangle HQ for his 60th birthday, so that's where the name comes from. And I really like this tangle because it's quite an organic tangle that comes together really nicely if you're kind of filling lots of spaces, but it's also got a little bit of ink and a little bit of drama to it too. So let's get to it. I've got my 2" by 2" square self-cut tile here. This has been cut from Fabriano Tiepolo paper. I've got my Micron PN, my Zentangle pencil and my tortillon here. I'm going to move the latter two to the side just for the moment and grab my pen. And I'm not going to do a string or any dots and a border for this tangle. I'm going to go straight in with my pen and start off in the same way that I would start drawing a tangle like poke root or poke leaf or something similar to that. And I'm going to draw a stem, but my stem for this is going to be slightly longer than perhaps I would use for one of those two other tangles. I'm going to do a line, maybe with a slight curve, and then an aura. So this is my stem. And then I'm going to turn my tile and just draw another line across the top here, so like a big T shape. I'm then going to bring these two sides down into sort of a triangle that disappears behind our stem, and I'm going to ink these two spaces in. So adding that ink is kind of adds a little bit of drama. It's nice and fun to do, like so. And then once I've done that, I'm going to go around and just aura this whole shape, the top shape, and then come down to the bottom and holybore underneath our initial stem. I'm keeping my aura here the same width as my stem as well. And then the next thing you can do is just grow another one out from the top here. So just in the same way, repeating the same steps to create this little plant-like tangle. Adding that ink and then an aura all the way around this inky space. And that's your Rixty. Now obviously you can begin to grow it in lots of different ways. You can even combine it with other tangles that kind of grow together like poke root or poke leaf, and you can separate your elements off like so. So maybe this one is going to spring off into two separate little Rixties. And you don't have to grow them each out of the end of the previous one. You can start them off wherever, growing from one plant-like element to another. And then one here that's just going to holybore. Well, if they get too big, they can holybore underneath each other. You can grow them and pack them really densely so they do all fall behind each other, in the same way that you would maybe draw poke root. Or you can keep them a bit more spaced out and grow them along a line. So lots of options. Adding that ink. And just making sure that you're retaining this white space. So nice auras. And you can do them larger or smaller. So maybe I'll do a little one here. And you can experiment with the kind of shape that you're drawing, like the triangular shape. You can make it more of a harsh triangle or maybe more of a softer triangle. This one's going to come off this way, falling down. You can kind of send them back on themselves and looping and interweaving. Lots and lots of options. And just taking your time. And not really thinking, not overthinking it really, but just seeing where your pen wants to take you. So I'm going to do one more here that's kind of going to holybore underneath its neighbours. Like so. And then adding the auras. And then up here, I'll do one more. But this is a lovely one to add a little bit of drama in still in an organic sort of way. So aura-ing. And then another nice touch I've seen some people do with Rixty is to just finish off, if you finished your Rixty kind of at the top of the plant element, you can kind of create this little stalk. Maybe has a little twirl to it. It's kind of a Maria style. But these just kind of finish them off if you are not going to be growing any further Rixty plants from the ends. Just a nice little touch like that. There we go. So there's the pen work done. I'm going to pick up my pencil, and I would say this is a relatively simple tangle to shade. I like to just pop a little bit of graphite at the top, in between these darker areas. Just a spot of shade here and there. And if you want to as well, you can add a touch where the auras at the bottom of your Rixty kind of pass beneath the initial stem. Of course, any other places that hollybore behind each other are good spots to shade. So just adding a touch more graphite here and there before I soften it on either sides of those initial stems in a couple of places. Pick up my tortillon, excuse me, and then the softening with this is really quite simple. We're not taking the graphite very far. We're just going to take away any harshness of the pencil line. Gently softening. And just taking away, yeah, any harshness that kind of creates more natural sort of shadow. Because when you have harsh sunlight outside, you can notice the kind of harsh lines of shadow, but if it's cloud, there's more of a gradient, so you can kind of notice that when you see patterns of light outside. There we go. That is Rixty, a really fun Zentangle HQ tangle. Now, don't forget to like and subscribe this video. You can follow me on Instagram and all the other social media channels also. Also, you can pop over to my website where I've got plenty of free resources. I blog regularly. I've got some free videos, some free classes, and a few different courses and other options as well. So thank you so much for following along today, and I will see you next time.